with us.
Time to fan the fire on some more burning issues, only on CannabisRadio.com.
Jeff, thanks again. I just wanted to get back to how could folks contact you guys? How can they find you?
Yeah, you can reach us by going online and going to cannabisworkers.org or cannabisworkersrising.org, UFCW.org, or you can go on Facebook and find Cannabis Workers.
That's great. And so tell me, how did you end up doing this kind of work? What got you into this business, so to speak?
Well, it's kind of funny. From a very early age, my family was really kind of into social justice. I didn't really understand, how they directed that. I ended up, going with my dad, who was a union, worker, a pipe fitter, and a member of the musicians union, to different gigs and events. And understanding that, the brotherhood, my godfather was a pipe fitter with my father. So, my whole life growing up, I ultimately was sent to private school, and I started to see the difference where, the only people that were from working class in this private school were people who were union members' kids. There were doctors and lawyers' kids and business owners' kids, but the only people from working class were union workers' kids. So I started really noticing there. And so when I got to looking for work, I wanted to work in a union industry, but like most people, you take what you can get. And I started working in industries that weren't union, and, they weren't really satisfying. They were just a job. And it wasn't until I really got my first union job that I really started seeing the power of collective action, the ability to speak out, really being able to bring what's happening on the shop floor to the corporate level, so they actually hear what's happening, so they can make decisions that are right and actually bargain and compromise with their workers. So, that's really what got me into it, and that's what got me into working with the UFCW. And, it was really exciting when I was assigned to kind of oversee the Cannabis Workers Rising program.
It's great because I feel like there are some parallels between sort of standing up for rights as cannabis users and activists and rights as employees.
Absolutely. And if you know that the employees in this industry are extremely brave, because we still have this, states' rights versus federal rights and, the impacts that could happen. And they're like driving this industry, and they're, brave people, and they're right for this collective action. It's what they do. And so I think the relationship between the UFCW, the workers, and ultimately the industry at the end of the day will be a powerful one.
It's funny, I had a shirt back in the 70s that said Marijuana Pickers Union, and now it looks like it actually might happen someday. So I'm really delighted, and I appreciate the work. What is a typical day in a union shop versus a sort of regular shop? Can you give us a feel for some of those differences or how that might work?
Well, I can tell you a little bit in this industry, in a union shop, what kind of hours you're going to get. They're not, constantly changing. We really want to fight for, stability and scheduling, so a person can have a life outside of work. They're going to know that they're going to get paid for the hours that they work. It isn't going to be like, oh, well, we don't have it today. They're going to be paid properly. And they're not going to necessarily be paid in medicine or product. They're going to get real money because, they all have bills to pay, real bills to pay, right? The tax collector isn't going to collect product. So, at least in this industry, those are some of the things that they can expect. They can also expect that they're going to be well trained. We're going to demand that workers are provided good training, so that relates to their ability to go home safely, that their customers get a quality product that does what it says and says what it does, and that at the end of the day, the employer can be successful because the consumer will be satisfied with the purchase that they make or the experience that they have in their shop. So I think that's one of the main differences between having a union shop and a non-union shop, is that there's a lot of unknowns out there, and the day can be very different.
It really does emphasize that consumers are going to benefit in a union shop, not just the workers.
Absolutely.
That's just super. And then, is this hard to do? Is this a complicated process for a shop to suddenly join the union?
Well, it doesn't have to be. It can be. Organizing can be hard if the employers want to be hard. They don't need to be. If if they want to sit down and really kind of codify, good standards for their employee, and that's an easy process. We sit down and we act like adults. Of course, there's always compromise. That's not a bad word in our industry. But that can be done relatively quick and painlessly. There's the other avenue of which, workers want some respect and a voice at work. The employer decides that they don't want to share power. They want to control everything. And then they go out and they hire, really nasty attorneys to really scare and intimidate their workers. Now, that wouldn't be an avenue that I would recommend. Even if I were in their shoes, I would, having worked in both sides, I totally would see the benefit of sitting down and bargaining a collective bargaining agreement.
It sounds like you're as much therapist and mediator as you are union organizer in a way, then.
You can be. Look, employees make mistakes too. I spend a lot of my time talking to our members about, you need to do a good day's work for a good day's pay. We're going to fight for you to make sure you have great working conditions, but you got to respect these things. So yes, on both sides of this, we become often the mediator / counselor, all of the above. We're family, really it is. It's just like any other family dynamic. We're not going to let our family members down. We're going to talk to people when we think our family's done something wrong. We're going to coach them so they don't make those mistakes again. But at the end of the day, we rally behind our family.
So, Jeff, I often get folks saying unions are just a slippery slope to communism. Can you dispute some of those ideas?
Wow. Generally that comes out of people that either don't understand what the union does or aren't willing to share in their ability to provide, a good working environment for the communities in which they serve. We're not communists by any means. I would say, that we do care about the greater good than the individual good. We believe that everybody does better when the ship rises rather than a race to the bottom. So if that's what they define as that, then, I can't control that.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm also curious, a lot of folks say somehow unions are going to send our jobs overseas or we're going to lose jobs. Can you dispute that idea?
Well, if you look at the industries that we represent, retail is the fastest growing industry in the country. You really can't ship overseas, traditional retail jobs. If you look at the products that we produce, like fruits and vegetables and things like that, which are consumables, that's probably the most exported item that the U.S. produces because there's a lot of trust in the quality of our food sources, and cannabis, which would be consumable, would be one of those things. And I would actually think potentially we could have a huge insourcing of work into our country because, as we move not just with cannabis for, medicinal purposes or adult use, we've got this entire movement towards hemp as well that is good for, the fuel industry, for textile industry, and, a lot of those central states that we have plenty of land where we can move that crop in and really create some good jobs.
That sounds delightful. That's really super. And so, it really does seem like you end up with happier employees, with employers who then get benefits from that, with less turnover, a chance to be able to rely on a subset of folks, and really have a union shop that can develop some brand loyalty and a regular set of customers.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm happy to hear that this doesn't necessarily have to mean higher prices for consumers. It's definitely not communism, and it isn't going to, send jobs overseas. So I think that's really a huge plus.
I agree 100%.
Well, I think we've had a great time here. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We've had Jeff Ferro here from the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, and can't thank you enough for joining us on Burning Issues.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mitch. If I could close, I'd like to say, it's not very often, in this country we get to participate in the growth of a new industry. And so many of our existing industries have gone in the wrong direction. if we all work together, we can make these the great jobs that, Americans deserve, our country deserves, the economic growth for the communities that we need, and it'd be a win-win for everybody.
Oh, superb. So we've had Jeff Ferro here from the UFCW, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for turning in to Burning Issues.
More Burning Issues coming up after we blaze through these words from our sponsors. InternetMarketingNinjas.com is the online dojo of the highly trained and skilled Internet Marketing Ninjas. Disavow documents, reconsideration requests, panda and paid-win penalties. Let our superior SEO ninjas confront all of your link-related issues. The Internet Marketing Ninjas are equipped to master any marketing exercise, content creation, authorship, link building, PPC, and more. Plus, build more buzz for your brand with our social media marketing strategy. Discover all that the Internet Marketing Ninjas can do for you. Visit the online dojo now at InternetMarketingNinjas.com.
Growing green to generate more green.
Hello to all you happy herbalizers, smiling trippy hippies, and everyone who believes in freedom and tolerance. This is The Grow Show, and I'm Kyle Cushman.
From food to fuel, from remedy to resource.
Welcome my guest, Ed Rosenthal, the guru of ganja. Let me ask you, right now I hear your lighter clicking. Are you smoking indoor or are you smoking sun-grown?
What am I smoking? I'm smoking concentrate.
Way to get out of the answer there. So you're truly like the king, right? You just clap your hands and somebody brings you a bowl and you're all set, right?
I wish that were the case.
The Grow Show with Kyle Cushman, only on CannabisRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
Time to fan the fire on some more burning issues, only on CannabisRadio.com.
And we're back. Thanks for turning in to Burning Issues. Dr. Mitch Earleywine here with this week's Self-Compassion and the Art of Activism. This part of the show focuses on how we can take good care of ourselves and each other to help the cannabis crusade. I want to talk a minute about one idea that can help us end misery, and the idea is my thoughts are not reality. Mountains of data show that our thoughts and our actions and our moods are all intertwined. Taking our thoughts just a little less seriously can help us feel better. This is the key to cognitive behavioral therapy, but if I had to boil it down to sort of a bumper sticker, it would read, you don't have to believe everything you think. Thoughts come and go. They bounce around our heads like a drunken monkey. No need to turn them into something they're not. Most of them are really automatic. Peanut butter and black. See how your mind just kind of jumps right in? Those thoughts happen automatically whether they're right or not. So confusing what we think with the truth, like 2 capital T's, can be a real bummer. Because some of our thoughts can make us feel bad, and they're not even true. But we can learn to recognize the rough ones, and that's how we intervene. One way to spot unhelpful thoughts is to know them when we see them, or think them. If we have names for the maladaptive thoughts, then we'll know them when we think them, sort of like the way Eskimos have their billion words for snow and can identify different ones, right? So let's focus on one kind of maladaptive thought, all or nothing thinking. All or nothing thinking, or the geeks call it dichotomous thinking, can really drive people nuts. You know these when you think them. It's all black or it's all white, and there are no shades of gray in between. Of course, that just wrecks the glorious technicolor of our world. And what a surprise, these dichotomous thoughts tend to lead to depression. But we hear them all the time. Friend or foe, sacred or profane, rich or poor, as if everything's one category or another. In fact, the world doesn't work like that.